This video truly has the power to forever change the way we grow zucchini plants in our vegetable garden. Please, I'm asking you, do everything you can to make this video go viral. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you leave a comment down in the comment section. Make sure you share it with as many people as possible. And most importantly, watch this video the entire way through, because all of these things contribute to the algorithm sharing it with as many people as possible. And people need to see this video because it's one of the most important videos I have ever made.
If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and check out my Amazon store and Spreadshop links in the video description for everything I use in my garden and awesome custom apparel and gear.
Zucchini is one of the most planted vegetables in backyard gardens, but it is also one of the hardest to grow because of two pests, the squash bug and the squash vine borer. If your location colonizes those insects, the death of your plants is inevitable. Every year, countless viewers comment on their heartbreaking losses as these insects decimate their squash plants. Now, we finally have the power to do something about it. Until now, backyard gardeners basically had two options: grow their plants out in the open in their garden and deal with the pests and the inevitable losses, or grow their plants underneath insect netting and deal with the problems that insect netting eventually creates. In this bed underneath garden netting are tomatoes, peppers, zucchini, and cucumbers. Growing tomatoes and peppers under garden netting is fairly simple because, well, they are part of the nightshade family of plants, and both the male and female sex organs of these plants are enclosed in a single flower. For that reason, tomatoes, peppers, and your other nightshades are primarily wind pollinated. All you need for your tomatoes and peppers to pollinate is a moderate breeze, which shakes the flowers, just like this, and it stirs up all the male pollen in those flowers and it spreads it all over the female parts inside. In fact, if you want to increase pollination on your nightshades, simply go to your plants and shake them to stir up the pollen, or you can take a leaf blower and put it on the lowest setting and lightly, gently blow the flowers around, or you can take a vibrating electric toothbrush and touch the vibrating head of the toothbrush to the individual flowers. These methods will literally double or triple your fruit set. Just make sure you do it in the cool morning weather because hot, humid temperatures with your nightshades cause the pollen to become clumpy and infertile. The ideal temperature for pollinating is between 55 and 69 degrees Fahrenheit. So, as a result, the tomatoes and peppers underneath this insect netting are fruiting like crazy because while the netting is blocking the bees, it isn't blocking the breeze, and a little bit of wind is all you need to get these plants to bear fruit. Squash, cucumbers, and melons, however, are part of the cucurbit family, and while cucurbits are self-fertile, meaning one single plant produces both male and female sex organs, the male and female flowers are separate and not wind-pollinated. So, in order for cucurbits to pollinate and hold fruit to maturity, pollen must be transferred from the male flower to the female flower, otherwise the baby fruits will shrivel up and abort. Now, typically this is done by pollinator insects when you are growing your cucurbits out in the open. But if you grow them underneath insect netting like I am right here, you will have to be the pollinator and manually hand pollinate just like I'm doing with the squash plants in this raised garden bed. Now let me show you how to quickly and easily hand pollinate your cucurbits. Now this is a zucchini plant that is growing underneath my garden netting, and on this plant are separate and easily identifiable male and female flowers. A male flower is identified as a standalone flower. So this is a stem with nothing but a flower attached. That is a male flower, and that will contain the pollen. The female flowers have little baby fruits attached. So this is a female flower. It has a small zucchini on it, and then it has an open flower on that end. If I don't pollinate that flower, it is going to abort. It's going to turn yellow, shrivel up, and drop off from lack of fertilization. So this right here is an old female flower that I previously hand pollinated, and the flower is starting to droop off, and that fruit is holding. And then underneath here is, you can barely see it, but there is another zucchini right there that I previously hand pollinated. The flower has long since shriveled up. That will be ready for harvest probably in about 3 to 7 days. So what I'm going to do is I am simply going to snap off this male flower, and I'm going to peel back the outer layers. And what you'll find there is the male the male sex organ that has all of the pollen on it. So all I'm going to do is open up that female flower right there, and I'm going to expose the female sex organs, and I'm simply going to take the male pollen and I'm going to rub it on that female flower. And that is literally all you have to do to hand pollinate. So this fruit now is going to hold to maturity, and that is going to be a full-size zucchini in probably anywhere between 5 to 10 days, depending on how much I irrigate it and how warm it is. We can do the exact same thing to this baby zucchini here. This is an even smaller female flower with a little baby attached. I could snap off this male flower right here, and then I could expose the pollen that you see right there. There's plenty of pollen in there. You can see it on the inside. All I really need to do is just peel back the flowers, the flower right here, expose the female sex organs, and then I'm going to stick that pollen in there. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we have a fertilized fruit that is going to hold to maturity. It really is that simple. And because I did that, I have this zucchini plant right here, which is starting to load up with fruit. And you will also see I have a bunch of butternut squash in here. There's one. Here is another one down here that I hand pollinated previously. Over here, there is another butternut squash that you can make out down there. I hand pollinated all of them myself. So, to reiterate, your options are to either grow your squash, melon, and cucumber plants out in the open so the bees can pollinate the flowers, and then you'll have to deal with the vine borers and the squash bugs and the cucumber beetles and all the other insect pests that come along with it, or you can grow them under netting and manually pollinate the plants. And to be clear, if you grow them under netting and you manually pollinate, you can choose any varieties you want. If you're willing to come outside and do that simple hand pollination procedure 3 times a week, roughly, just to make sure you don't miss any female flowers within their pollination window, it doesn't matter what varieties you pick, and you can basically grow them relatively pest-free fairly easily. And I think it's a lot easier to manually pollinate them under insect netting and not deal with the pests. But the vast majority of gardeners disagree with me. They would rather take the losses than go through the trouble of hand pollinating. Most people just don't want to do what I showed you how to do right there. So because of that harsh reality, we have to come up with another way, a simpler way, a more foolproof way. And luckily, we have those solutions in a lot of these cases. Now, for cucumbers, there is a very simple solution. Some cucumbers carry a natural gene for Parthenocarpy, which means their fruits will persist and mature without pollination. That means you can grow these special cucumber varieties underneath netting and never have to touch them, and they will produce like crazy. Over the last 4 years, I have promoted many of these varieties, which are both gynoecious and parthenocarpic. That means they make only female flowers, and the fruits will hold without pollination. They produce 2 to 3 times the crop of a normal cucumber plant. This variety right here is called Merlin, and it is my all-time favorite cucumber. This is gynoecious and parthenocarpic. It doesn't make any male flowers at all. It only makes little baby female fruits, and every single one of these that you see on the plant right here, well, they are going to hold to maturity and produce a mature cucumber despite the fact none of these have been pollinated. Now, this is my favorite variety, but there are other awesome varieties like Party Time, Isnik, H19 Little Leaf. I'll link to a video both above and down in the video description that shares all of them with you. I've discussed it so many times in the past. And for the record, these are not GMO. This is a natural mutation, and this is just good old-fashioned breeding at work. But the problem is this gene for Parthenocarpy is either very rare or very unstable in squashes and melons, and I've never found a variety of either that can set fruit without pollination. Believe me, I've looked. I've searched for Parthenocarpic zucchini for years now, and despite many claims in various varieties, descriptions online and in seed catalogs, I've never found one that actually worked in real life. Last year I grew a zucchini called Sure Thing, which claimed to be Parthenocarpic, but it wouldn't set fruit in my climate. Admittedly, it was bred for the cool, cloudy Pacific Northwest, so maybe it would work there or in a different, cooler climate with less humidity, but I planted 4 plants, and every single one of them failed to set a single fruit here in the southeast. Well, after almost giving up, I decided to try one more time, and this year I grew a variety called Dunja, which claimed to be the trifecta: heat-tolerant, disease-resistant, and partially parthenocarpic. Not fully parthenocarpic, so some of the fruits are still going to abort without pollination. However, this variety claimed it could hold a fraction of them with no pollination at all. Some of them. So for those interested, I will place a link down in the video description below where you can purchase the seeds. Back in April of this year, I planted a couple Dunja zucchini plants in this raised garden bed right here, and I planted them with no protection at all. Now, without a doubt, these were the biggest, strongest, and most productive zucchini plants I have ever grown. They were enormous, and they perform better than any zucchini variety I've tried in the past, especially with disease. I have never had any powdery mildew or downy mildew on any of the plants that I've grown successively throughout the season with this variety, and that is almost unheard of in my climate. Vine borers and squash bugs did eventually kill all of them in July because they were unprotected, but they were the biggest, best zucchini plants I ever grew, and the fruit quality was fantastic. Now, I decided to test the claim of Parthenocarpy. I am growing 2 Dunja zucchini in this raised garden bed right here. I planted them back in mid-August, so it has been exactly 1 month since I transplanted them out into this bed. These plants have had insect netting over them 100% of the time, so any fruit in this entire bed would have to have been without pollinator insect assistance. What I'm about to show you changes everything. First thing I want to show you is the absurdity of the size of these plants. Now remember, these have only been growing for about 30 days, and look at how gigantic they are. I can barely even fit them in the frame of my camera. They are so big and so vigorous, and that is what makes this variety, I think, so pest and disease hardy. It just grows and grows. Nothing stops it. Here is where the gain-changing aspect comes into play. Now, let's start looking at the female flowers on this plant right here. This right here was a female flower, and this clearly shriveled up and aborted. So, without pollination, this one dropped off. This one right here, it looks like this zucchini is in the process of aborting due to lack of pollination, so it looks like it's shriveling up and dying back. So unfortunately, those first 2 right there, we did not have success. But if I move these male flowers out of the way, look what we see right here. We have a zucchini that is growing to maturity. It is hanging on the plant, despite the fact that it was not pollinated by insects. We have, more than likely here, a Parthenocarpic zucchini. So we're 1 for 3 on this plant. And I'll tell you what, this one right here, this is looking pretty good too. This looks like it is holding, and right behind this, it's hard to see and I don't want to break this off, but there's another small one right here. We'll have to see if that one holds. This is the second Dunja zucchini plant, and this is so incredibly vigorous that it's hard to see what's going on. Now I can see I have a squash flower that aborted here, a squash flower that is aborting here and turning fuzzy. We can break that off. So that one obviously didn't set fruit. This one didn't set fruit. This is another one right here that didn't set fruit. So at first it looks very disappointing, but there was something that I almost missed. Underneath that leaf right there, look, a huge zucchini right here. That set fruit without pollination as well. So I think what's going on here is the first couple of flowers are tending to abort without pollination, but as the plant gets going, it gets more and more likely to hold the fruit. I have another beautiful zucchini flower right here that hopefully will hold. That popped off pretty easily, so I'm hoping that's going to turn into a fruit. Either way, this is looking very, very promising because both plants have fruits that are in the process of maturing on them. In fact, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to gently twist that zucchini off, and I think I'm going to eat this for dinner. Look at that! Look at this gorgeous zucchini fruit right here. This is huge news, folks. I have 2 Dunja zucchini plants that have spent their entire flowering lives underneath insect netting, and they are both producing mature zucchini without the assistance of insect pollination. Yes, it's not 100%, it's only partial Parthenocarpy, but this is gigantic. That means that even down here in the southeast, with the most miserable, buggy, humid, rainy conditions, we can grow grow somewhat parthenocarpic zucchini, spending their entire lives underneath insect netting, never hand pollinating, and you will still get some amount of fruit. This is the game changer that so many folks that want to grow zucchini have been looking for. And keep in mind, I live in one of the most humid places in the United States, and generally speaking, pollen performs the worst in high dew point locations because it makes it sticky and it brings the pollination rates down lower. So chances are, unless you live in, Miami or Corpus Christi or New Orleans or something like that, chances are you're living in a place that is less humid than me, so you probably have a better luck of not having heat stress induced fruit failure. You have a better chance of these plants likely being semi-parthenocarpic where you live and having a better chance of success holding fruit without pollination. My rates look to be something about 30 to 50%, but I'm probably going to try this again in the spring next year underneath garden netting when the dew points are lower. I have a feeling I will see higher rates of parthenocarpy when the dew points are lower in April and May than they are now in August and early September where I live on the sticky humid coast. And keep this in mind, while I have verified that this variety is partially parthenocarpic, if you still go out and hand pollinate, you will have much better rates of success. So if you're a person that doesn't mind hand pollinating, but maybe you don't have the time to go out there 3 times a week, well, maybe now you can only go out once a week and hand pollinate underneath the insect netting, and you can rely on the partial parthenocarpy to give you some fruits, and you can enhance the ability for pollination under the insect netting. So that means you can basically grow things in a vine borer free, squash bug free environment. So this is a total game changer for those of us looking for a solution to those pests, and I'm actually already looking forward to next year. And that is why I really need your help to spread this message. I really need this video to go viral because to me, this is an absolute game changer. Had I known this years ago, this is what I would have been doing since day one. It's taken me many years to figure all of this out, and I need your help to spread this message to everybody that likes growing squash. So please hit the like button and leave a comment because those interactions help spread the video across the algorithm. But the biggest thing that you can do, aside from sharing with family and friends, is to watch this video the whole way through, because when you accumulate a lot of watch time, that is the thing that really makes videos go viral. So if you can watch this in its entirety for me, hit that like button, leave a comment, share it with somebody, share it with everybody. I really want this to go viral and show as many people this awesome variety as possible. And like I said earlier in the video, I'll place links down to the seeds, the places I ordered the seeds from, for your convenience if you want to try this awesome variety. And just as evidence, this is where I purchased the Dunja seed. I got my seed from Johnny's. I'm not getting paid to say this. I bought these with my own money. This is an independent experiment. This is not sponsored. I genuinely want to help as many people as possible because I have been struggling with this nightmare for years, and now I have way more of a gleeful outlook when it comes to growing zucchini because this is just a game changer to me. So everybody, I sure hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you're notified when I release more videos like these. Please make sure you leave a comment, share it with your family and friends, spread this information out there because I really want the gardening community to see this. If you're curious about any of the products that I use in my garden in real life to grow zucchini and everything else, they are all linked in my Amazon storefront down in the video description. So expand the video description, click on the Amazon storefront link, and you'll see everything I use in real life. And while you're down there, please consider checking out my spread shop for custom merch if you want to support my channel. I just released a whole bunch of new designs. Now I think Dale is hungry. I think he wants something. Come on up, buddy. He's harassing me. He wants to eat. So I have to sign off for the day. I hope to see all of you again on the next video. Right, Dale? We'll see you there. I just got done filming my video and I cannot find my puppy dog anywhere. Where, oh where did my Daily go? There he is. Is Dale in his paw hut? Oh, there he is. Oh, I didn't mean to disturb you, buddy. I shouldn't have done that. You were in there relaxing and being oh so good. It is such a beautiful evening, isn't it? Look at that tail wag. We are just loving this early fall weather. It's the best time of the year after a long hot summer, right? We're out here enjoying the breeze. Beautiful, perfect evening. Perfect amount of light to film. And Dale has just been in his element the last couple of weeks. He's been such a good boy and so relaxed. You're just the best, Dale. I don't know what I'd do without you.